Well, welcome to the latest video. So we're going to look at this Bosch pressure washer which we got on the boot sale, and unusually have the accessories with it, which is interesting because you don't usually get that. So as you can see, it may have a dangerous electrical problem, possibly. So we'll have a look at that. So if you're wondering what happened to the outboard motor, then we are working on it, and we will have another episode on that. It's not quite finished yet. Okay, so I do not know how to take this apart, but if we shine a torch down here, they do appear to be cross point screws down these 6 slots, so I'm assuming that that's what you do, except that some of them are rotted and they're not all coming away properly. So you can see there, it's possible that I don't have the right screwdriver for this actually. Three. Looks like 4, and they're all different. This might have been repaired before. Right, so I was struggling to find a socket big enough, but I found this one. I got that off, alright. So I need to loosen this. I think I'm not sure if we need to or not, but we'll give it a try anyway. So we had a very specific problem with this, is that this particular screw had a rusted off head, and we just couldn't get anything. It's this recess is too long for a drill bit, so tricky. So what I did was I got a very small cold chisel, and I put it on the edge there, because that's the bottom of the recess just there, and I gave it a whack with this. This is like a £1, £2 hammer or something like that, and that opened the case. So what I'm not sure is what's inside this, which side the motor is attached to. So I'm just going to try and lift it and just see what happens. I'm assuming that's the lid. Yeah, I think that's the lid. So the top of it may be a bit out of focus. Yep, that's the lid. So if you ever wondered what was inside a pressure washer, then that's what's inside. A pump and a motor. Very good. Right, so this motor, you can see how much profit these guys are making. There's a pump and a motor in it, that's it. And you pay hundreds of pounds for these. Unbelievable. So, electrics appear to be in the top end there. I expected that would just lift out, which it does. So I think what we've got to do is just chop the cable a tiny bit shorter, or get a new cable maybe. Now it looks like the live one is on the top and the other one is on the bottom. A little clamp to take off just there. So I do not have a spanner for this, so what I'm going to have to do is just unscrew it while it's on the cable. So as you can see, this end is not going to go through the hole, so, and we're going to cut this anyway because it's got split insulation, so chop it off. Choppy chop chop. Oh, how annoying. Oh, that was tight. Well, I suppose it has to be tight because you're keeping the water out, but that really was tight. So I do not have a 23mm spanner, so well, that's thin enough to get that off. Anyway, I'm going to cut this about here. I'll just use that, I think. Pull that through, and then let cut that about there probably. Cut that about there actually. Right, so we're kind of ready. Okay, so if you're not familiar with these, there's basically a nut goes over here and compresses this ring here, which squeezes down in a piece of neoprene, and the neoprene then squeezes onto the cable, and that keeps the water out. So you can see how the cable's been squeezed there. The problem is that produces, if you don't have like a flex relief on it, that produces like a stress point, and you end up with the cable getting split like this, which is dangerous. So I just spray the leaves on this thing, and that should allow me to get the cable back in again. Right, so there's a little bit of Vaseline on the end there just to make it go in. I don't know if we could knock that neoprene out of there, maybe we could actually, I don't know. Okay, so I got the nut, goes on first, that's the bit that's on the outside, and then the neoprene sleeve goes on next. little sleeve. It's possibly a little bit out of focus there. A little bit sleeve going on next, I think. Okay, once those two are on, we then put the main thing on. So that goes through from the other side. From there like that, and then there's a nut that goes onto that, which I'm not going to put on just yet because I've got to wire it first. So then we have to put a little grommet thing on, and then we've got to split the wires and add a couple of spades. So we've got some quite nice looking spades that came off it, so I think I'm going to reuse those just with a bit of soldering. Should be alright, I think. So let me just splay these a bit. So I think I've got a bit of shrink wrap, and we'll put a bit of shrink wrap over it. This is, I think, the legit way to do it, probably. I do have electrical tape, but that's a little bit bodgy. There we go, finally got it out. There you go, that's the rotted screw head. Nearly impossible to get that off, really. stick the wire on. And then prepare the grommet, which pushes through, and then there's a plastic nut that goes on the back. I'm not 100% sure how much slack cable we're supposed to have in there. I'll have to go and look back through the first video. I think it's something like that. And we've got a little clip to go on there. It goes down, I think. Possibly a little bit tighter than that, but not a lot tighter than that. Right, so that's on. I'm just going to tighten the grommet a little bit. Let's make sure it's not too slack, because these parts, they are plastic, so you have to be careful just how much you whack them down, but you don't want it too slack on something like one of these anyway. Right, so you can just see the other side there. So now we've got the challenge of putting the grommet inside the and it's stuck on the bloody cable, which it would be, wouldn't it? Typical. That's got to get swizzled into there somehow. Oh, it's gone in. Look at that. Yeah, baby. That's a result. Actually gone in. Right, that does seem a little slack still, so I think we'll try and tighten that up a little bit more before we cap it down, because I don't actually have a spanner thin enough to get that once this is on, so I'll give it a bit of a tighten. I don't know if that's really fixed it, but it should be alright, that I think. Right, so this then goes down and is used to crush the neoprene around the cable to keep the water out. But this case, as you can see, this case is wide open anyway, with the louvres on it. So largely speaking, it's not that important at that point of because the electrical connection is actually at the top there. Right, so we're now going to have a quick look at the motor and make sure that the brushes are okay and everything. Okay, that one goes onto there, and then the main sort of cable going to the motor, or the pump, seems to have another one of these. I'm not 100% sure what they're for at the moment, but there's a little suppression capacitor in there. That looks like the main feed actually to the motor, so right, let's just somebody's jack that off. That gets my motor out. Okay, so at the end there seems to be spinning just fine. So I've got this rather gawky piece of plastic that comes off. I'm actually pretty amazed that when you got a machine that's dealing with water, that's really that's really all you've got there. It's just a bit weird. However, there is no way that you can easily stop that from moving. Right, that's the motor case open. Well, that's very interesting. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that or not. Let's see. Yeah, actually looks okay. I think it's supposed to be like that. It's just it doesn't look great. Left hand thread, folks. Left hand thread. Not helpful. Still not sure if that'll actually come off because it's probably been on there for a while and. People who are watching, those are the brushes just there, and they look like they're okay, but you cannot get them out easily. In fact, it's designed so that you cannot get them out altogether. The commutator it's got some wear, but it's alright. The motor is not burnt or anything like that, so bearings seem alright. That looks pretty good to me. I'm not seeing anything wrong, that's for sure. Okay, so we'll call it good and put it back. I'm assuming that that goes on with the fan on it. Well, I might be wrong there. And that's snapped closed. So the super glue's holding. In fact, that's on tighter than it was before. Right. So yeah, that seems alright. And then you got this thing. So I think I probably need those bolts on before I put that on. So that'll be next. Okay, so this is the inside of the pump shaft. That does appear to be moving okay. This grease feels a little bit too sort of stiff. I wonder whether we should put some better stuff in there, I don't know. And I might well do that actually. So I'm assuming that there must be some kind of impeller in here. I've never actually seen the inside of one of these before, so I don't really know exactly what's in there. Let's see. This, I think, is just the angle shaft. I don't think there's anything under here particularly. Yeah, so you just got a gasket there. Clean that up a little bit, but it's okay, I think. So presumably the water goes into there. I don't know if that's got a ball check valve in it. Yeah, so there's a ball check valve in there, which assume you get to from here probably. That's a bigger, slightly bigger thingamy. Yep, slightly bigger. Do you know, I never thought that I would use this kind of thing, but I do actually use it a lot. I never believed that. So they are torqued on pretty tough, which makes me think maybe I should just leave it alone. Yeah, in fact I will. I'm going to leave it alone because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Right, so give that a quick clean, and we're just going to put these back and we'll just see what happens. I'm not seeing any cause for concern here, so I'm guessing this thing will just work properly. So just going to put a little bit of extra in there because it looks a bit dry. I don't know if that's, maybe they've made it really treacly deliberately, I don't know. I know that there are some sort of specialist greases on these machines that are supposed to be a particular way, so I don't know if that's right or not, but that's a bit of moly grease in there which should help prolong its life a little bit. So that's the O-ring, and it actually does look in good shape despite the fact that it's jumping out of the ring there, but it doesn't look bad. Well, apparently they are a bit notorious for doing that, jumping out like that. So what I've done is I picked up a trick off Dean Doherty on the on YouTube, and I've super glued it together and cut a bit out of it. So I hope that'll work. Right, well, the nut's back in. Right, back to the case again. So she goes in like that, I believe. I won't be wrong there. It will be wrong actually. That can't be right. Yep, it's got to be like that, I think. So perhaps you have to put the colour in first. Put it on. It's definitely got to be that side. Well, that's in. That's just a bit of a tight fit, I think. That's the one, I think. So this has got to go back on. There's a little suppression capacitor there, which I'm assuming is working. Because it's quite a big motor, that'd probably ruin your TV reception if you took it off. So that goes on to that like so. I wonder if that is supposed to go underneath the grommet, maybe, like so. Okay. I think that probably does go into the grommet actually. I think that's probably what's supposed to happen. Because there's nowhere else for it to be. Well, we do have a cover here, and the cover doesn't really give anywhere else for it to go, so that must go under the grommet then. I'm pretty sure that does. That's what it does. So that means that it probably should have that underneath. So that's all connected. I think that's the way it was at the start of the video when we took it off, and we've got this little lid that goes on. That lid there is to stop the water from causing a problem, I think, with the electrics, which makes sense, perfect sense really. So we then have top piece which clips on and screws on, except that we've got a dodgy screw in it, but that's a different issue. So now it gets screwed down. Okay, so these are the old screws, and the heads of these are really rough. So I've got a couple of other ones to supplement them, and some of them are good, some of them are not good. So. Seems to be a good O-ring on it anyway. All in all, folks, that seems to be quite a good item that we picked up. It's certainly working perfectly. We did have a little bit of split in the cable there to change out. Looking at most of the interior, I don't really see anything wrong. I didn't see anything wrong with the bearings or anything like that, and it looks like a pretty sound pressure washer, really. I think I'll just clean up the case now and get it ready for sale. But that's actually quite a nice item. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this little video, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.